I woke up to this email from IngramSpark over here. Now, when I first saw this, I was super excited, and probably if you got this email, you were as well. It was like, whoa, no more book setup fees? That's amazing. Like, Indian self-published authors have been on IngramSpark's case for years about this fee. No other self-publishing platform out there charges title setup fees and revision fees. I thought this was going to be a huge win for Indian self-published authors everywhere. IngramSpark has finally listened. And then I clicked on the email. Hey, it's Deborah with another video on the business side of self-publishing. Normally, when IngramSpark does price change announcements like these, they do not make this information easy for you to find on their website. If you go to things like pricing here and click on this particular link, it just takes you to this page where it's, got these big headline numbers, and then it's got like a link to their book calculator, which, don't get me wrong, like this page is very helpful, but it does not let you kind of conceptualize in your head just what are all the fees that they're charging, because they actually split all of this up into individual calculators, right? The only way you kind of really can get a comprehensive understanding of what IngramSpark's pricing is like is you kind of have to wait until they send out one of these price change emails, and then you can actually scroll down and find the link to their latest rate card. Now, I may have missed an email or two, but I'm pretty sure the last time they sent one was back in March of 2022. And per that update, this is their pricing and services guide. In here, you can still see that their title setup costs are all here, and that they currently have no market access fee. And it's here in this rate card where you can actually see that revisions to live titles cost $25 per revision. And this fee is charged when revised content is uploaded for a live print book or ebook. $25 per format. If you are publishing both a paperback and a hardcover through IngramSpark, you essentially have what IngramSpark calls two titles, because each format is set up as an individual title, which I honestly kind of hate that terminology, because to me, with my publisher hat on, the title is a book, right? And like the formats are just different formats that are offered for the same title. But anyway, a lot of indie and self-published authors have gotten around these title setup and revision fees by joining a membership association, such as the Alliance of Independent Authors, or if you're in Australia like me, something like the Small Press Network. Both of these membership bodies have membership benefits that includes things like discounts on distribution services, including free IngramSpark setup and revision fees. When you go to set up a new title or to revise a title on IngramSpark, you basically log in and you get given a coupon code that changes every single month. And that particular coupon code you can use up to a maximum of 5 times per month, so maximum 60 times per year. When you use that code, it automatically reduces the amount payable to 0 on the IngramSpark website. So if you're a busy person because you are a self-published author and you're wearing all the hats in the publishing business and you're just like frantically working on trying to get your next book out, you might have seen that email this morning and just gone, oh, great, that's wonderful. Now that I don't need to pay for title setup and revision fees with IngramSpark, I can maybe get rid of some overheads and not pay for that author membership association anymore. No, hang on. Before you go and cancel, let me take you through the fine print of this email. Now, when you read this email, it seems like it's going to be good news all the way, because not only are there no more book setup fees, there's also going to be free revisions on new books. And by that, they mean when you do a revision on your title within 60 days of the book's first production date, you will not be charged a revision fee. This is not really the super generous thing that they make it out to be. Don't get me wrong, this is a good thing, because as a result of this change, more authors will choose to publish on IngramSpark. Not only does it take away the monetary barrier of the title setup fee, which is currently $49 per title, but it also takes away a lot of the risks that you have as a newer self-published author. Publishing through IngramSpark feels too hard for a lot of first-time authors. Setting up your first title for publication on IngramSpark is an absolute nightmare. I know of many authors who thought they did all the right things and approved everything and got their proofs, and found out that, wait, actually no, I've made a mistake here, or the colors weren't right, or the resolution wasn't right, or the trim or the bleed, or whatever wasn't right, and they had to go back, modify their print files and redo it and have to pay $25 USD every single time they did that. And I know of many people who have had to do that multiple times. IngramSpark is notorious for their god-awful user interface and their poorly documented processes, and I'm saying this as somebody who considers themselves to be fairly tech savvy. I'm usually very good with systems. I read every single manual and help file out there. Even then, I still made so many mistakes setting up my first title on IngramSpark, and I was so super grateful for the fact that as a member of the Small Press Network, I could actually get all of those revision fees waived. That membership saved me so much money. I feel so conflicted about this. First off, revisions to print files don't really end. Whenever you release a new title, the number one thing you need to make sure you do, in addition to, getting the publication of that particular title right, is you need to go back through your entire back catalog and update all of the front and back matter so that people who happen to buy any copies of your back catalog titles know that you have a new title that you've released. Like, it is just the sensible thing to do. And so that means I need to do revisions to every single title that I have distributed through IngramSpark every single time I have a new release. And the more titles that you have in your back catalog, the more money they're going to make off you. I did do a spreadsheet to try and figure out what this would all mean in terms of the dollar impact on my self-publishing business. I currently have 2 kids books, and I also have 2 language versions of each of those. And so effectively this is 4 titles with IngramSpark in both paperback and hardcover. Now, according to IngramSpark, this means I effectively have 8 titles that I'm distributing. And so you can see right away how even with a very small back catalog, I'm already running into a lot of constraints, even under the existing system. I cannot update the front and back matter on my entire catalog at once because IngramSpark has already imposed a restriction of a maximum number of 5 uses of these promo codes per month. So the next time I publish a kids book, I'm gonna have to stagger those updates across 2 months. But the problem with what IngramSpark has done here is they've tried to spin this as all super good news, and then you come to the bottom of this email where they start talking about this global distribution fee. And if you look at it, it says books enabled for distribution. By that, they mean every single title that you publish through IngramSpark that you actually want to go through their distribution network, because books are not considered published through IngramSpark until you hit the Enable Distribution button. These books will be charged a market access fee equivalent to 1% of the local list price at the time of the sale. This market access fee that we're talking about in the latest update has always been part of their fee schedule, but traditionally, this has been free. It does not cost you anything to distribute through the IngramSpark distribution network other than to pay that upfront title setup cost as well as your revision fees, which most indie authors, we've been getting around that by paying a membership fee to an author association and then getting their monthly coupon code to have those fees waived. So what does that mean? Well, there's a link, and when we go to this link, instead of taking you to an article on their blog or to an updated rate card or something like that, it takes you to their help section on the website. It is actually filed under IngramSpark support, account information, miscellaneous. Like, what even is this? I really don't like how IngramSpark have gone about trying to communicate this. If I were a cynical person, which I am, I would say that IngramSpark looks like they're trying to hide something. It looks like they're trying to bury the information. So here is all the verbiage with them spinning the whole thing as, oh, isn't this great? We are so behind authors. We're so supportive of authors and everything. So now let's have a look at what they've buried here in regards to this market access fee. Effective July 1, 2023, a market access fee will be charged for every print book sold through Ingram's global distribution network. That is every unit that you are selling and distributing through IngramSpark's network. Every single unit. The fee will be 1% of the list price of the title sold. That means IngramSpark have decided that in addition to taking their cut for the printing cost, In addition to taking their distributor's cut, which is currently about 15% of the list price, because if you go into your IngramSpark dashboard and you set your wholesale discount to something like 55% in order to get your book into brick and mortar shops, when a bookstore actually orders your book in, they're not getting 55% off your list price. They're actually getting 40% because IngramSpark is taking 15% as their cut for being the distributor. And to top all of this off, this fee will appear on the compensation report in a field listed as global distribution fee, which is this thing that gets automatically emailed to you. And when you have a look at this poorly designed report, you need to scroll past the first page of useless summary information. And then on the second page where it summarizes your total sales, you will have this column called global distribution fee, which in all of the past reports to date will be zero because if you remember, according to their rate card, this market access fee was something that they never used to charge. And so what they're saying here is going forward from the 1st of July, when we get these compensation reports, we are going to be able to see another 1% coming off of the top of our revenues in this column called global distribution fee. That is where it's going to be. Now, the other funny thing that they've tried to do here is they've said, for example, if your book has a US list price of $20, the market access fee will be 20 cents. And they've tried to frame it as like, oh, no biggie, it's only 20 cents. Like, it's not really that much. But I don't know what to tell you. Like, to me, this feels very much like the print equivalent to Amazon KDP's download fees, which is another example of a major self-publishing platform exploiting their dominance over the current market to charge these ridiculous fees that no other competitor out there charges. You might be thinking, well, okay, fine, don't use IngramSpark then. And I would love to, but there is actually no viable alternative to IngramSpark. They are basically the only player in town when it comes to wide print distribution. KDP, D2D, and Barnes & Noble, they all partner with IngramSpark. Not only is IngramSpark still getting their 15% cut, you're also paying an extra 10 or 15% or whatever it is for each of these intermediaries. In my opinion, with these title setup fees removed, it is just not worth it. It is better to go direct to IngramSpark. And again, this is not really clear anywhere, but like I would bet IngramSpark is just gonna pass all of those distribution fees right on to their partners. So you can't get away from it, at least not with any of the major print-on-demand platforms. It is just so frustrating. Like, I get it. Print distribution is an expensive and a difficult problem to solve. Getting rid of title setup fees is good. Getting rid of revision fees for those first 60 days of a book being in production is also good. That said, I really dislike how sneaky they have been by trying to spin this and for doing their best to bury this change that they're making to the market access fee. Because what they've actually done is they have traded the most visible and easily understandable and most objectionable part of their entire pricing structure for something that most authors are basically not going to notice. Because how many of you actually open up your compensation report and look at anything other than the net compensation number? Like, former accountant here, and I can tell you all I'm looking at is that net number that is coming into my bank account every single month. So if you're a busy person, which you are as a self-published author, and you just don't have the time to read this email and it's fine print properly, you're just going to see these headlines and think, oh, IngramSpark, this is so great. Wow, like thank you for being supportive of indie authors. But no, really, they're not. So the next thing I did was to go and actually check on the membership benefits. Now, the Ally website doesn't disclose a lot of specific details on their public-facing pages, so I went to the Small Press Network website, and here it says that the discount offer from IngramSpark includes not only free title setup and free revisions, it also includes no market access fee for 1 year. Is that per year of membership? Because my membership is annual, or is it like it's once from the use of this promo code? Like I don't know how to interpret that. I'm kind of confused about how this is going to waive the market access fee for me, because it says that there's going to be access to Ingram's print-on-demand wholesale distribution channels where titles are enabled for distributions, and this is going to be like $12 of savings per title. like, is that a maximum of $12 that you can save on the market access fee per title? Because if it's 1% of my list price, like, you're gonna hit that pretty quickly. Currently, unless I input this membership code on title setup, like, there is no way that IngramSpark knows whether or not my titles are tagged to a particular membership network. Because the other thing is, like, IngramSpark for Nano a lot of the times also releases Nano coupon codes. And so if you in the past have set up any titles with those kind of codes, and then later on you join an organization, like, how is any of this going to work? It's just very super unclear. There are two takeaways here. Number one is, if you're an indie or self-published author, don't get rid of your membership just yet. It is still, in my opinion, worth joining a membership association, because you're still going to need those promo codes to update the front and back matter for your entire back catalog every single time you have a new release. I'm not just talking about making back the membership fee itself. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars, enough to pay for a professional book cover. The second takeaway is, if you are moving significant quantities of print formats, this is probably the time to start upping your author newsletter and website game and start looking into doing your own offset printing and your own print distribution through alternative platforms, because IngramSpark just made distribution through them way more expensive. And if this has you worried on how you're going to make any money as a self-published author with all of these costs eating into your margins, then you should check out this video I have on how to maximize your profit margins.